Hi all, good morning. Today we are going to discuss about multi-threading. Okay, what is multi-threading? Okay, before that, what is threading? What is multi-threading? And multi-threading in Spring Boot. Okay, why we need to introduce multi-threading in Spring Boot? We are going to cover all these topics in this video. Okay, let's discuss about what is threading. Threading means a small unit of code or small unit of executable code. Okay, in small unit of executable code, it may consist any functionality. Okay, let's consider a thread means a small functionality. Okay, now multi-threading means multiple functionalities. Okay, now if we have a scenario where you want to perform multiple functionalities at a time. Okay, you want to suppose you have a 10 functionalities, you have to perform 10 tasks at a time. Then in those cases you can introduce multi-threading concepts. In Spring Boot we introduce multi-threading concepts especially for input output bound tasks or CPU or processor intensive tasks. Means suppose you have a main application and the you should not block your main application. Okay, now there is a scenario like there is a situation like you want to read a particular file after some delay, or you want to read that particular file between some intervals of time. Okay, or if you want to read that particular file after some tasks happen in background. Okay, then in those cases you can implement multi-threading concepts. Okay, that one thread will execute the file reading functionality. Then CPU intensive tasks or processor intensive tasks means suppose in a scenarios like image processing, video processing. Okay, and if you want to perform complex mathematical operations, encryptions, in those cases it needs high processor power. Okay, it will utilize our application utilize high processor power. Then in those cases we we implement our multi-threading concepts. Okay, in Spring Boot we can write our multi-threading concepts in 6 ways. Okay, first one is at at the rate async. Then we have completable feature. Then we can implement the thread pull with the help of thread pull task executor. Then we can implement with the scheduled executor service. Then we can also implement with the Spring's task executor. Then we have project reactor. Okay, now we will discuss when we will use which implementation. Suppose if you have an application, uh, if you have an application that registers the user, and if you want to send an email in background without blocking your main thread. Okay, if you want to execute a particular method in the background without blocking your main application, in those cases you can use at the rate async. Okay, then we have completable feature. Okay, uh, suppose you have a scenario like you have uh, multiple tasks are executing in the background of, and if you want to collect the result of the multiple threads. Okay, by default other sync doesn't return anything. Okay, this completable feature, if you implement the completable feature, then it can collect, it will wait uh, until all features are completed and it will collect all the results. Then it can render the output to the client. Okay, this completable feature is used to collect the result of the background tasks, and also it want to block your main application, main thread. Then we have thread pull task executor. Okay, suppose we have 10 tasks, what will happen generally? Suppose we have 50 tasks. For each tasks, it may create new thread to perform each task. It may create a new thread, but you don't want this. You want to execute all 50 tasks by fixed number of threads. Like uh, you have a team like 10 members in your team. you want to perform all 50 tasks by these 10 members. Okay, you won't recruit 50 people to to do 50 tasks. Okay, you recruit only 5 or 10 people to do all these 50 tasks. Like this in threadful task executor also we have fixed number of threads. These threads 5 or 10 threads will perform all 50 tasks effectively and efficiently. That is the use of threadful task executor. Then we have scheduled executor service. Okay, suppose if you want to perform a particular tasks at after a certain delay, or after every 5 minutes, or between the intervals of between certain intervals, you have to perform certain tasks. Then in those cases, you can implement scheduled executor services. The best example for this, healthy check of your production application. We implement a scheduled executor service for those use cases where you want to perform healthy check of your production application for every 2 minutes, or for every 1 minute, or for every 5 minutes. Then we have Spring's task executor. Spring task executor is an interface. It's like a manager where in the backend it will assign the work to the threadful task executor, where threadful task executor is the main executor which performs all your 50 tasks. This Spring task executor assign this task to the threadful task executor. It's like a manager, and tell them how to do the work. Okay, it's just an interface. In the background, the actual work is done by the threadful task executor in an executor. Okay, then we have project reactor. This project reactor is used in reactive programming applications, where we have uh, reactive programming applications. There you can implement project reactor to perform multiple tasks in parallel. Okay, now in this video we will see at the rate async, and how it is going to perform parallel tasks. Okay, for that I implemented one Spring Boot application. It's just a small application. I just uh, I just take one application. Okay, to perform at the rate async. To perform any task, any method in the background, you should enable at the rate async. Sorry, you should enable async by annotating with at the rate enable async. Okay, uh, you you no need to you no need to add any dependencies to enable async. Okay, suppose we have a controller, and we write one method. Okay, from this method I'm calling service which I want to execute in the backend. Okay, to execute any particular method in the backend, we should annotate this with at the rate async. Okay, now we are telling this Spring this method can execute in the backend without stopping the main thread. Suppose assume it is a main thread. Okay, where it is accepting a request. Okay, after accepting the request, it will call the notify user. Okay, now I mentioned notify user as at the rate async. Okay, I mentioned notify user as at the rate async, that I'm telling Spring to execute this task in background without blocking the main thread. Now it should not block, it should not stop, it should not block this task until this execution is completed. It can complete this sending an email. Just I'm returning sending an email, or you can return any mail like successful. Okay, you can return any string like successful. You can return any string. I'm returning successful. Okay, so immediately it should not stop the main thread, so immediately I should get the successful message. Okay, but in parallel in the background, this short this task should run. Okay, without this main thread won't consider this background tasks. Okay, there is no relation. Okay, it just fires the background tasks and it will continue to perform the next task. Okay, now this task will going to perform in the background. Now what I implemented a method to perform. I implemented one logic to show you how it's going to perform in the background. Okay, I wrote one. I'm printing one message with certain number of times. Okay, let me show you that. I'm running this application. Now we will see how it's going to work in the background. Okay. Okay, our server started on port number 8080. Okay, mm, suppose. Okay, now if I hit get mapping in the browser, okay, I should get the result like successful immediately, and in the background, I should print should print the methods for particular number of times. Okay, we will see. Hit the enter. I got successful message. See, in the background, it printed my email 2000 plus times. Okay, it returned this message immediately. In the background, it printed these many number of times. Okay, this is how background tasks will perform in the back. Uh, this is how background tasks will perform with the help of enable async. Okay, if you enable async with the help of async methods, this is how we make we will make background tasks to perform without stopping the main controller. Okay, I hope you understand this topic. Thank you. Thank you all. Meet. See you soon. Okay, bye.